Do you wish you could see our live reactions toward each other during our podcasts? If so, make sure you guys are following us on YouTube. We post all of our full podcast episodes on YouTube so you can see our beautiful, smiling faces the whole time. You will also find highlights from some of our epic moments during our Twitch streams, as well as other bonus content we make, including dad joke-offs and more. Be sure to search Funny Business on YouTube and smash that subscribe button.
Hello there, and welcome everybody back to the Funny Business Podcast. Yes, it's another episode. It's another fun time, but not a long time. Maybe an hour 15, depending on how we're feeling. Matt, how are you feeling today? How is your week going?
Week's going great. It's, just vibing out here. Another week, another dollar, as they maybe say in podcast.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll wrap with it. No, just a good week so far. Another week closer to summer. I know today Pennsylvania announced some restrictions going to be lifted soon in the next couple weeks, which is exciting. So we just got to keep doing our part and staying safe. And then hopefully at some point soon, maybe there won't be any restrictions at all.
I really hope that, Matt, but I think the greatest thing about us is we are so remote ready for a podcast. Even if we do get that podcasting studio we've always been talking about since episode 1, we still can do the podcast. We still can bring the listenership, meaning the entertainment, to our audience. And it all is going to come together in this nice, peaceful balance, just like the Force.
And hopefully that Chinese rocket doesn't fall on us because, God, have you heard about that?
No, what?
Okay, since we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
China launched a rocket into space like a week or so ago, I want to say.
Sure.
And it was successful. And now it's plummeting back to Earth. And like the launch pad is still attached to it. But they don't know where it's going to land because it's still too high up there. What? This thing weighs like 22 tons.
This is the point when those individuals just yell science and then they launch something in the air and they have no plan after that.
they said there's a chance it burns up in the atmosphere, but there's also a chance it could just come down in your backyard too. So it's kind of like a game of Russian roulette you didn't want to participate in, but you might get the end result. It's
do you remember that Boeing 747 that was having pieces fly? Oh, no, it was a commercial jet, I think it was, and there was pieces flying off and landing in people's backyards.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was wild. Like people like there was I don't want to call it fans, but there was what do you call it? Motors? There's motors falling, plane motors falling in frickin' people's backyards. Like insane.
That's got to be some of the scariest things that could happen, especially when you're not expecting it. Like at least. Hopefully at some point they say, hey, if you're in this area, beware of a rocket falling in your backyard. But yeah, that's got to be crazy. You're just like chilling on the back porch with a drink, and then all of a sudden you have like a wing of the plane fly into your pool.
Homeland Security is going to be like having like a map of like the United States, actually a map of just like the world, and they're just going to throw darts and be like, okay, based on my trajectory, it's going to land here.
They're going to have a map of the whole Earth, and it's just like it could land in the circle, and the circle is just covering every single country in the world. They're like, here, just have fun.
Have fun. GG's. Poggers, dude.
No, GG's. Could you imagine if they were just like, good luck?
Good luck.
That'd be crazy.
Well, Matt, because of everything going on, you don't know what to expect. What's been really crazy, Matt, is there was a video that was circulating on social media just this past week itself. And to me, it kind of freaked me out because I never really thought of this happening in a situation before. But I'm sure it has. Naturally, it has in some scenarios. But there has been a video that's been circulating online showing a man who's minding his own business at a gas station. Matt, you and I, of course, are traveling. When it came time to it, we always had to fill our gas up. Matt, what's the latest you've ever pumped gas? Let me ask you that, because the people who don't pump gas, they don't belong in this conversation. So, Matt, when's the latest you've ever pumped gas before, like time-wise?
Yeah, I always feel superior when I'm with my Jersey friends and I actually know how to pump gas. Like I feel like I'm I'm just slightly more intelligent.
You drop this king.
Yes, pretty much. Do you mean like latest at night I've ever pumped gas?
Yes.
Probably around like 11:30. Probably when I was back working like baseball games. That was probably coming home from work and had to fill up before I went to work the next morning.
I've done it 2 a.m. before.
That's kind of scary. I feel like
scary.
I was nervous going at like 11 at night.
Yeah. So the situation that came up, Matt, for our viewers, is that this guy was minding his own business again, pumping his own gas, and a van pulls up full of carjackers. So what they were trying to do legitimately was pull up side of him, everybody get out, subdue him in God knows whatever the heck the worst way possible, and take the car. Which is a reminder, you should never leave your keys in your car. You should always lock your car when you're pumping your gas. Always go into a well-lit area when you are pumping your gas. And yeah, that's all I could think of, Matt. I don't know if there's any other safety tips that you've ever been taught or shared.
I actually usually don't lock my car. I probably should. That's probably a good idea. I usually take my keys with me, obviously, because every time I close my door, it honks at me if I leave the keys in anyway, so I don't really feel like doing that. I usually like pumping gas like when I know like there's like another car there with me. Like if I pull up to the gas station and it's kind of empty, I get a little freaked out about pumping gas because like you just never know because of videos like this case.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, Matt, for those who are sitting at the edge of their seat wanting to find out what happened in this scenario and why we are talking about it today, is by far one of the most unique things that I've ever seen as far as self-defense. So let me tell you, gas is expensive right now, and we don't need to go into that as far as, what's to blame for or who it is to blame for, but gas is very expensive. What this gentleman decided to do was take the gas pump out of his car and decided to spray the carjackers while they were trying to get in it. And I cannot imagine both the smell and possibly the taste or even getting it in your eyes as far as how ratchet that is of getting gasoline on you.
Very smart by that guy. I mean, you know what surprised me from the video? It sprayed like a flamethrower. Like it didn't just like dribble out. It was like shooting at these guys. And you're right. Like if you got that in your eye, I mean, they probably would have had to go to like the hospital. I don't really know. I don't know what the procedure is if you get gas in your eye or gas in your mouth. It's probably not a good thing.
You probably have to wash it out. It's kind of similar to like when you worked in the lab, like when you took like a lab class in like college, like there's those like eye strainers that like if you get something, you like look into it and it like sprays in your face. It's never happened to me before, but I guess that's how it works.
Well, it may have happened to me in high school.
Wait, it did?
But I kind of just like didn't use the eye wash and just my eye was red for like 10 hours. Yeah, I got formaldehyde in my eye. So we were dissecting a fetal pig, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yes, a piglet.
But we kept them in bags, and I went to open the bag, and it splashed like in my eye. And the girl next to me was like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, it just burns a little bit." And I didn't like actually tell my teacher. Probably should have used the eye wash station. I didn't. And yeah, my eye was just red. I went to track practice after school, and the guys were like, "What's up with your eye?" I was like, "It's just a little itchy." So that's probably, it is a safety tip. Don't do that. Wash your eye out, because my eye burned like for the next 12 hours. But I can still see, so I guess that's a plus, right?
Maybe that's why in Fortnite, when the crosshairs are always red.
Yeah, maybe it's... Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I never thought of that before.
You could blame that during the next live stream.
I think I will.
So Matt, to me, I mean, smart move on him. I mean, that is fight or flight right there. And like, to me, I'm never a guy who watches a video or like sees something happen. I'm like, oh crap, like that could happen to me. Like, carjacking can literally happen to any of us. Like, yeah, I mean,
listen, anything can happen to anyone at any time. So you got to be prepared. This guy's obviously prepared for like any scenario that comes at him. He also wasn't afraid to like just pour it all over his car. Because he was like, there was 3 guys. There was one guy like near the trunk, one guy by the driver seat, and then like one guy in the hood. And he was going like in a circle, just like spraying it at him left and right. And his car had to be doused in gas after that. So obviously you got to do what you got to do, but he was prepared to do anything to keep that car.
Yeah, I mean, a couple extra bucks of you spraying gas is much less expensive than stealing your car.
And he obviously did the right thing, because they obviously didn't continued to get the car. Like they got back in the van and they dipped.
Yeah, they were like, see you later. Like, don't want to deal with you. Like, see, I wouldn't want to be you. But we haven't heard any follow-up yet as far as what I don't want to say the conclusion of this, but if the carjackers were caught, arrested, anything like that. We do know for a fact that the gentleman has his car. So I don't know if you have anything else to add, Matt.
So I would never carjack a car.
I would hope not.
Like, I'm not that type of guy. I don't think I would try it. If I ever were to, in an alternate like universe,
like GTA
I don't think,
5. Like, let's
yeah,
just say
GTA 5. I don't think I'd try to carjack a Subaru. I feel like if I ever had to, it would be like a nice sports car or something like that. A Subaru is pretty low on the list.
You know what, Matt? Actually, it's a good point. Why the heck would you want to take a Subaru?
I mean, listen, I like Subarus. I would buy a Subaru, but like if I'm going out of my way to potentially go to jail for carjacking a car, I'm probably not going to pick a Subaru.
Oh man, crazy.
That's my thought. That was actually my final thought. Like after I watched the video, I was like, wait, that's a Subaru. What are they doing? I got nothing against Subarus. If you drive a Subaru, you're probably a nice person, as that guy probably is.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so be vigilant the next time you're out. I mean, could happen to anybody, but we really hope it doesn't, because that's just wrong. Matt, we're going to flip over to another weird story as we're moving right along here. We've seen gasoline being used as a weapon. Now we are seeing amphibians used as a projectile. I have no idea what the heck this story is, and I hope everybody can understand it as I'm presenting it. But the headline reads at a HuffPost, Florida woman survives being hit by a flying turtle. Now, Matt, last time I checked, turtles cannot fly.
No, but it is a Florida turtle, so I wouldn't put it past anything in Florida to just do anything, to be honest. I mean, it's Florida.
Mm-hmm. So to give a little bit of backstory, a 71-year-old woman riding with her daughter on Florida's Interstate 95 suffered a gashed forehead. So there was blood. A gashed forehead Wednesday when a turtle smashed through the windshield of their car, striking her, the Daytona Beach News Journal reports. Daughter pulled over and got help from the motorist, according to a 911 recording. Both were surprised by what they found. And this is how the call went. There's a turtle in there, the man can be overheard saying. A turtle, the daughter exclaimed. An actual turtle? Thankfully, the woman was not hurt. How this was presented was the turtle was likely crossing the interstate and got knocked into the air by another vehicle. I don't believe that.
I don't either, because if the tire hits the turtle, isn't it just going to go right over the turtle and like crack its shell? Like, it's not going to send it flying in the air.
I mean, a turtle shell is super strong, but not strong enough to withstand a car.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like you're going to pinch it like a ball in Rocket League. Like, it's just going to go right over the turtle.
So the quote from the daughter said, "I swear to God, this lady has the worst luck of anything." The turtle, on the other hand, had the best luck of anything. It just had a few scratches on its shell and was released back into the nearby woods. It was alive.
Turtles, people don't realize how strong those shells are. Like, they're like super strong.
I like turtles.
Fantastic find. Just one of the best finds of all time. Yeah, I love turtles, and this is, I know maybe they can fly now, and I think that'd be pretty cool to see it. Like, what if like in the winter months they, like, you know how snow geese like flock to like here in the winter months?
Yes.
And then they go back to Canada. What if like turtles in the summer months flocked up to like Pennsylvania? That'd be pretty. We need to find the real reason why this turtle is going flying in the air.
You know what I could think of the possibility?
What?
Well, so you had to be, I guess it was a had to be there moment, but we can only speculate what happened, Matt. It seems as though a large bird, and this is not reported, this is just my prediction, a large bird of prey wanted to take the turtle as their food. And the turtle was flying with the bird of prey, a hawk or an eagle or whoever that may be, and it lost its grip and it started falling.
I like that theory, but where would it grab it? Like, just its head? Or its feet?
I mean, feet, head.
Yeah,
The
that
shell.
could be. That's a better theory. My theory was just there's probably just like kids messing around and like catapulted a turtle, which I hope isn't the case. But that was literally the first thought when I thought, like, how could a turtle actually fly? And I'm like, well, someone probably launched it.
Not the turtles.
Where are the turtles?
Turtles.
I can't believe that thing's alive though.
To me, what? Like, how?
I'm glad the woman's okay too. And then also, I don't think, like, I'd probably be scared of driving after that happened.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to get behind the wheel for another couple weeks, maybe months.
Or I don't think I could look at a turtle the same way ever again.
I don't even know what to think about that. Like,
also, wouldn't they take the turtle back to the ocean? Right? Or are there turtles that don't live in, like, maybe the woods had a pond or something that it stayed in?
Maybe it's a conspiracy. The government's now tracking turtles instead of birds.
The turtles work for the bourgeoisie. Yeah, maybe the turtles are the new birds.
Yeah.
And that was just, maybe the turtle had like a glitch. Maybe they accidentally like started it up. Like they put the batteries in it. And then it just went flying.
You don't know what's under that shell. Maybe it's just a bunch of computer parts.
Exactly. Yeah. Have you ever seen anyone dissect the inside of a turtle? I haven't.
Nope.
Makes you think. Stay
think.
woke, people.
We don't condone that. But hey, you never know.
You literally never know.
Well, it's that. Is it? Crap. What's the song? It's like.
That's the.
What's it from?
Oh, I know that show. I don't watch it, but I know it.
Conspiracy sound effect. As I'm looking it up, is it no Illuminati confirmed?
Yes.
But what is it from? Illuminati.
Oh, I feel like we should know this.
Confirmed sound.
It's really X-Files. There we go.
X-Files. Yep. That's what I saw that. Yep. It says, X-Files.
I never watched it. I heard it was a good show.
Yeah, I didn't either. So Illuminati confirmed.
I think turtles are the best. Still, I still love looking at turtles. They move slow, but hey, slow and steady wins the race.
You ever been to the local state park? Have you been to the state parks when you were in college, Matt? When you went to?
I didn't go to one.
You didn't go to one? Okay.
I didn't go to a single one.
So Jenna and I went a couple weekends ago to one of them, and we're going on a hike, and Jenna was like, "What the heck's that over there?" And I'm like, "It's like a turtle cove." So what the state park does is they actually put like a little platform in the middle of the pond, and like turtles just get up on there and they hang out. Like it's just a bunch of literally looks like a bar for turtles. Like it's all in the square. And it's so cool. It's really. I mean, I wish you were able to see it closer, but there's a sign because there's a driveway that you can go through, and it says "Caution, turtle crossing."
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I love turtles. We went to the zoo once and saw two turtles getting it on.
Oh,
that was a sight to see. Yeah. I don't know why everyone was gathered around looking at the turtles doing it, but I mean, hey, when in Rome.
Yeah, when in Rome, my friend. Well, Matt, we are going to move on to the last topic, and of course, it is the best topic, of course. This weekend, as you are listening to this on a Friday, maybe, it is Mother's Day, everybody. So hopefully, whether the mother figure in your life or the mother that gave birth to you, spend some time. Matt, do you have any plans for Mama Summers in the weekend?
I will be working on Mother's Day, but my brother and father will be going to a baseball game with her, and then we'll probably just get dinner later that night. Nice. So that'll still be fun. I'll get to spend a little bit of time with her at least.
I'm actually surprising my mom. She doesn't know I'm coming up. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
She doesn't listen to the podcast, so I could say that.
That's a good Mother's Day surprise.
Maybe out of all the episodes, this is 55. Out of all the episodes, she listens to this one, and it spoils the surprise.
You'll be driving home, and like halfway through, you get a text. Why are you coming home this weekend?
Yes, I don't know. I'll probably stop. Maybe some, the usual flowers, and I want to stop at a local chocolate place that one of our college alums run and pick up a few things maybe.
It's a classic.
Depending on how I am. But Matt, maybe you are running last minute trying to find out what the heck should you get that mother figure. Well, luckily at the Funny Business Podcast, we can tell you what to get. So the HuffPost reported hilariously weird gifts that you can get for your mother. And this is just literally a list compiled of a multitude. I can't even get started with, I'm just doing a quick scroll. But Matt, one of the things that, of course, 2020 was proven was the toilet paper shortage. So why not transform that shortage into a golden standard with toilet paper earrings? This would have been very handy during the early part of the pandemic, but I'm sure she'll laugh if you say that joke to her.
I mean, I feel like there's at least one event in a year you could wear toilet paper earrings too, even if it's just like a funny. Halloween would be a cool play, like if you wear like a ghost. Well, I guess they wouldn't see you if you're a ghost, but they're still, yeah, absolutely, yep. You can wear these at a lot of places.
Matt, what do you got?
Oh man, I like the apologetic Mother's Day cookie. I think that's always a great one. The example, should I read the example?
Go for it.
Okay, the example says, "Sorry for being the reason your bladder leaks. Happy Mother's Day." I think that's very nice, showing respect for the fact that they went through a lot to give you life.
Now, Matt, we're getting a little weird here. Another gift to give to your mom or your mother figure is a Golden Girls porno coloring book. Does mom need a hobby to keep her occupied in between, quote, Golden Girls reruns? Well, this coloring book features Blanche, Dorothy, Sophia, and Rose in various states of sexual congress will probably keep her occupied.
It's unique for sure. My mother hates the Golden Girls, unfortunately, so I will not be getting her this.
I don't think my mom's ever. My mom used to watch Reba a lot.
Oh, my mom hates Reba.
Reba.
She hates Reba.
What did mom watch? Do you remember, or did she ever tell you like what she used to watch a lot?
Honestly, I don't think she really watched a whole lot of TV. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. What I really liked is this bicycle pizza cutter.
Okay.
I mean, it's Mom. You can't ever have too many pizza cutters because they get dirty pretty quick.
It's pretty bougie.
It is bougie. Might be a little chuggy if you've seen that word being flown around.
No.
Oh yeah, there's a new word called chuggy.
Chuggy?
Yeah, CHEUGY. It's like a new slang word. It's like for like people that are like trying too hard or trying too much to fit in or be cool.
Well, I'm glad that you say that because probably the students who work for me will probably call me that, and I'll say, "Oh, that's a nice compliment." But,
see, for people that want to keep up with the hip lingo, the Funny Business Podcast is here for you.
Speaking of hip lingo, let's talk about the big booty mix that just came out this week.
It was phenomenal.
But I think Matt and I both agreed that we are pretty hip when it comes to the popular sayings, phrases, or quotes that are said during quote the year that is it two best friends or two friends?
I think it's two friends.
It's two friends. That's the artist's name.
Right.
The the music creator. It's like a DJ Khaled for all like.
Yeah, it's fire if you haven't listened to it. But yeah, we knew every single one, and I felt cool. Felt like I was 18 again.
Now, Matt, I don't know if you remember Pinnacle Whipped Vodka from you, my friend, but alcoholic whipped cream would be another one.
I feel like this is a gift just to get anyone, like not just on mom. Like get it for her for Mother's Day, for her birthday, for Christmas, for Easter. Put it in your Halloween basket for maybe not for kids, but if you do adult trick or treating, this is a great gift.
Yeah.
There was one that I really liked, and I'm trying to find it right now. Spicy cicada seasoning.
Ooh.
So the cicadas, I'm not looking forward to the cicadas this summer. That is going to suck. But maybe if you want to dive into another spice, you want to spice up your life, variety is the spice of life. Spicy cicada seasoning could maybe do it. Maybe mom's cooking could use a little flavoring. This is something to add on.
Nice pitch. Now, Matt, this one I think is fabulous. It is called the Wad Free. It says for too long, Your mom has suffered the silently indignity that comes from too many sheets, blankets, and towels getting all soggily wadded up in the wash. The wad-free eliminates that problem, allowing her to focus on something more important, getting you to stop bringing her your laundry. Small victories indeed. So I guess what this does is it allows you to, if I'm reading this correctly, I just opened up on Amazon. So, yeah.
Yeah, it looks interesting in the picture.
It says it's a detangler. So what it looks like is, I'm just trying to figure out the quickest way. Yeah, so you literally hook it on that device and you pull from the device, and I guess it becomes wad free, but I don't know.
I like that. I think moms would like that.
The reviews of right now, there's 658 reviews, and it's a 4.3 out of 5 stars on Amazon if you want to pick it up. $18?
Cool. I think that's worth it.
It's a piece of plastic.
No, I think it's worth it. Like folding sheets can get tricky, so if you have them,
worth for mom, not for myself.
Debatable. Well, moms would love it. Anything you can get your mom to help with laundry is a great gift.
Yeah.
Just a great gift.
Absolutely.
There's a high performance pet massager. So we all know, washing your dog or like trying to keep your dog in good shape and looking good can get a little maybe expensive. It can be time consuming. So it's just a pet massager that your pet will love it because it feels like they're getting petted, and it's an easy way for them to like get massaged out, which dogs need.
Yeah.
Or cats or turtles or donkeys.
Or iguanas.
Yeah. Komodo dragons.
A tiger. Because
Walrus.
You never know if a whale.
Yeah, Joe Exotic could use this for his tigers. I don't know if he's canceled or not, but
we'll find out. Well, Matt, another one that I think all of us can use besides mothers is, quote, the Scream pillow. To me, it looks like a gag gift because you could just give a pillow, but it has a nice little design where it shows where you should scream, and it doesn't, I guess, amplify your scream, like it muddles it. Pillows and blankets, Matt, are actually the best form of noise. Is it dampening? I forget the right terminology. Noise. It's not noise canceling, but yeah, it's noise dampening.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's actually, you know what? We're going to try it live, Matt, while I'll, go ahead, say one more thing. Go say one more gift. I'm going to go get a blanket, and you're going to hear the difference.
Okay. The last gift I'm going to pick here, it is a book that says Women Don't Poop and Other Lies. Now, whether the idea that women don't poop is a lie or not, maybe the world will never know. But this is just kind of like a funny gift to get your mom, and they get to have a good laugh on Mother's Day because everyone needs a good laugh nowadays.
All right, and we're just going to talk like this for the rest of the podcast.
So I brought up the book that says Women Don't Poop and Other Lies.
Oh yes, that's a good book.
Yeah, because like I said to the audience, we don't know if that's true or not. So I guess it's a good read to find out.
Don't ever insult anybody about them showering or pooping because that's not good for a woman.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, everybody does it. So when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Of course, I can't think about doing a blanket for during the cold times. It's freaking hot. It's like humid and sticky today in Pennsylvania. And of course, I think of the idea of putting a blanket over my head as there's the lights being.
Yeah, you're probably gonna break out in a little bit of a sweat.
Yeah, I'm gonna break out a little bit of sweat, but we're gonna take it off. Hopefully, you heard the difference, y'all. I'm sure Matt hasn't because we're on the Zoom call. So
I heard a little difference. It was a little dampening.
Yeah,
not much, but a little bit.
It's not noise canceling. It's more eliminating some other noises.
Absolutely. You have any other ones from this list?
No, not really. The Women Don't Poop and Other Lies is a good way to end off on this list. But Matt, I think really the biggest, I think, like we said last year, a card is probably one of the nicest things that you can give your mom for Mother's Day.
I actually like picking out cards to give people. Like it's not fun to do, but like when you pick the right card. Like, when you find the right card, you know that's the card.
Yeah. I mean, if you need, like, a quick card, like, not a quick card, but if you need, like, a quick thing to do, like, always a piece of paper is not that bad either. Like,
yeah.
It's the writing that counts, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in elementary school, we used in like computer class and like middle school, we used to like make cards for Father's Day and Mother's Day and just like make them on the computer, print them out, and fold them. Like they were easy and it was cool.
Do you remember the crafts that we used to do, like back in like preschool and like kindergarten?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever have a 100-day project? Like on the 100th day of school, you were supposed to bring in like something that would total to 100 or something?
No, we used to do like activities on like the 100th day of school, but I don't think we ever did like a project or anything like that. What grade was that?
Kindergarten.
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. I don't remember kindergarten.
My mom used to help me with all the projects in the world. Volcanoes.
As all moms do.
Did you make a volcano in 6th grade?
No, never had to do that.
What?
Yeah, never had to do it.
Dude, your school sucks.
Instead of that, in seventh grade, we had to do a leaf project.
A leaf project?
Yeah, we had to go around and collect different types of leaves and like put them in a book. It's so stupid. I didn't do any of it.
Oh God! Well,
Yeah.
let's all make like a tree and leaf from this port of the podcast, and we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We're gonna thank some sponsors, and we come back. Matt's taking on the rodeo. You don't want to miss it. Let's say you start a podcast, or you're running your own side hustle and have a bunch of links that you want your audience to know about. As a podcast, Matt and I have all of our social media, all of our podcast links, and other important things. Make it easier for your followers to find your important links, social media, and latest content by having it all in one page with Solo.to. I'll be honest, I have used similar websites like this, but nothing compares to Solo.to. All of your links are clean and easy to navigate. Have an upcoming video? It's really easy to make those changes. Plus, Solo.to has opportunities to upgrade to include more customization, advanced analytics, and so much more. Solo.to is giving us a special opportunity for you to get 10% off if you create an account and upgrade. Be sure to go to solo.to/funnybusiness to create your account today. Solo.to, it's the way to go. Do you think, Matt, people are tired of hearing our Anchor ad?
Yeah, probably. But let's be honest, if it wasn't for Anchor, we would not be doing a podcast.
You're right, Matt. Once again, we have to thank Anchor for helping us continue to make each episode. Y'all know how it works. Anchor is free. It's easy to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and distributes your podcast to platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more.
And you all know that you can make money too, even with the first couple episodes that you start with.
So why haven't you started your own podcast yet? Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm.
So, Mike, when do you think we'll stop talking about Anchor?
Oh, man, Matt. You know what? To be completely honest, I think we'll be talking about this for a long time.
Okay, let's slide into the sports topics for you all today. Start with some baseball. Mike, there's usually every couple years, usually around spring training or before spring training, we get some weird injuries, like two baseball players that aren't baseball related. I remember a few years ago, I think Yoenis Cespedes, I think he got injured like on his farm, like doing something to his farm or something like that. And it's very bizarre injuries. Well, we had one this past weekend with the Oakland A's. Pitcher Jesus Luzardo actually pitched in the game, but before the game, he had an injury to his hand, like his pinkie felt a little odd. After the game, he didn't pitch well. I think he threw like 3 innings or something like that. He got x-rays. Turns out he has a broken pinkie.
Oh.
Now you might be wondering.
Yeah, shouldn't that be like baseball, right?
You would think.
Oh.
He broke it at the stadium, but he was playing a video game. And I believe the exact quote was he bumped his finger playing a video game. So let me explain that for anyone who doesn't know what that is. He slammed his hand and broke his finger.
He rage quit.
Yes. Now, here everyone's being like, oh, he broke his hand playing a video game. Mike, I don't think, and you can agree or disagree with this, I don't think we can blame him for that because we don't know what video game he was playing.
Yeah, I mean, if he's playing like Animal Crossing, like that's kind of like super embarrassing. But to me, I think the quick, easy, it's either Call of Duty, Fortnite, or Rocket League right now. And like those are some rage quitting moments. And Matt, I'm sure you and I have both had the same
Yes.
I've thrown my controller before, in my opinion, so I can't really.
I don't know if I ever threw a controller. I don't think I did.
Actually, I threw my headphones.
I may have like tossed it on the bed, but like I don't think I've ever like thrown it on the ground or anything like that. Now I have another theory.
Okay.
What if he was playing MLB The Show as himself and gave up a home run?
Oh,
and he was so mad he slammed his hand, broke his pinky.
That's the irony of it all.
I think we do deserve to know what video game he was playing, though, because that really does make or break the whole story.
And the reporters weren't asking what game were you playing?
I've read like 4 articles, can't find an answer.
That's so dumb.
What is the media there for if they're not going to break the hard breaking news?
Well, yeah, because all of them are saying these stupid questions to people, as we've definitely covered in past shows about stupid topics, like, because this isn't a stupid question about what video game was he playing, but like, it kind of gives a little bit more of a description as far as why his pinky was broke.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people deserve to know. They deserve to know. Let's move on to some basketball. Mike, LeBron has just taken over every single news story in the NBA this week. So we were going to talk a lot of LeBron going forward. Let's start with Dr. J, though. Julius Erving. All-time player, really good guy. Gave his all-time super team. So basically it's the top 10 players of who he would start and the bench. And people are very mad that he left LeBron completely off the list. So Mike, I posted the photo for us to see. And I'll post it to social media as well. I don't think leaving LeBron off the list was the worst part of the list.
Yeah, because you could argue so many other people are not on this list. Kobe's not on. So, Matt, why don't you go ahead and tell for the folks at home who's on this list?
Absolutely. So the first team, the starters, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. And then the second team, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Do you notice a similarity between both sets?
Yeah, it seems like the first team is the OG players.
Right.
And then the second team is just like 80s and 90s players.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is what you get when you ask Dr. J what his favorite player or his all-time super team is. How the hell is Michael Jordan not on the first team?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Like, Michael Jordan is on the second team. Kobe Bryant is not listed on there. Tim Duncan isn't listed. I mean,
that was another argument that I had. Tim Duncan absolutely deserves to be on this.
Hate to give the man credit where it's due, but Shaquille O'Neal isn't on this team either. I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, Vince Carter, another one. Like, give or take.
Yeah. I think if you ask Jerry West who's the greatest Laker of all time, I think he says Kobe Bryant. So I don't understand how Jerry West is on the list, let alone above Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Wilt Chamberlain is also interesting because he played against guys that were like 5'11", and he was like 7'3".
He was a globetrotter, believe it or not.
He was, yeah. I did know that. I like Wilt. He's like the one guy it's hard to say where he fits on like the all-time players list and all-time centers, because when he was playing, he was that much better than everyone. I mean, he averaged like 50 points and 20 rebounds every season.
Well, to those who don't know, he's the only player to ever score 100 points during a game.
Facts.
Okay, good. I like second guessed myself.
You sounded so confident when you were starting that, and at the end you're like, question mark?
Yes, he's the only. But then what also is another fascinating fact too is he had a heck of a lot of rebounds that game too. I think he had like 50, didn't he?
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. I mean, his box score every single night was just like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Karl Malone does not come close to being on this list for me. Yeah. Like we said, Tim Duncan. I would even put Shaq at the 4, or like move Kareem to the 4 and put Shaq at the 5. But like Karl Malone, other than being very problematic, like he just scored a lot of points, I felt like.
Yeah, I mean, I always, when, was it NBA 2K? What was the one where they were featuring Michael Jordan? Was it 17? 2K17 or 2K16?
I think it was 16.
It was 16? I think it's funny because the first time I ever knew who Karl Malone was like during the Jordan like series where like you had like each of his like key games that he played and you needed a certain amount of points, certain amount of rebounds. You had to shoot this from this. And Karl Malone was like, you need to do better than Karl Malone. And I'm like, this idiot. Like, it's like just a just straight out villain. And he was scoring. And I'm like, all right, this guy is being really annoying right now. Like,
yeah, I was very surprised to see him on the list. Also, I don't know. That's the first time I saw a picture of Elgin Baylor.
yeah,
I couldn't even tell you. I think he played for the Spurs and like the Lakers, I think. Or no, I'm thinking of George Gervin. Whatever. Elgin Baylor doesn't belong on the list. But there is like a thing that like old time basketball players, they do have like a little resentment towards like the new current NBA, whether that's because of super teams and whether that's because of too many threes or whatever.
I hate to be that person, but that's just society in general. The old people will always harsh on the new people for, the millennials. Yeah. You always hear that all the time. And it's like, okay, there's a new generation that's out. Not everyone's a millennial. Like, I'm
sure their grandparents were saying the same things about them when they were young.
Right. Like,
so I said LeBron was all over the news this week. Mike, he did just come back last week from an ankle injury.
He is now surprised by that.
He's now out again with the same ankle injury. He injured it this past Sunday. And he said that he doesn't think he will ever be 100% healthy for the rest of his career. Cap. That's cap.
I don't...
Go ahead.
I don't understand how somebody can say, oh, they're never going to be 100%, when I think all of us can never be 100%. Like, you're around maybe like a 98 or a 99 or a 97. No one is ever 100%. And that's either between age, limitations, all this stuff. Like, it's weird. It's just...
So, one, you're at the end of the season. No one's 100%.
Right.
Like, that's known from any sport. When you get later in the season, people are going to get injured. No one works out and takes care of his body in the NBA as much as LeBron does. So I feel like he has a good chance. But you know what he did here? He gave himself a free pass for the rest of his career. If he doesn't win the title, oh, I'm not 100%. What do you want me to do? So he played that perfectly. That's classic LeBron.
Yeah, I definitely see that point, and it's upsetting because, him being up the candidacy for greatest of all time, like him saying that.
Yeah, I feel like every time he says something like this, and we'll get to the next story, people are just going to say like, oh, that's why he's not MJ. But the MJ LeBron debate is one of the stupidest debates I think we can have because they're from two totally different eras. It is, but why it's stupid is because at least both of us, we can still like respect MJ and respect LeBron. There's so many people out there that if they're MJ fans, they hate LeBron and vice versa. And it's just like, they're the two greatest players of all time. Can we just appreciate them? That always drives me crazy. Mm-hmm. So with LeBron being injured and with Anthony Davis being injured a lot, Lakers are in some trouble in the Western Conference playoff standings and scenarios. So we've talked about the play-in tournament, how the 7 through 10 teams are going to play. And there's a possibility the Lakers could be in there. And the exact quote that LeBron had after Sunday's game when they lost to the Raptors, someone asked him about playing in the play-in tournament, and he was kind of just saying, we have some games left, and we're going to be prepared to play whoever we play. And then he was referencing the play-in tournament, and the quote was, I'm trying to find the quotes, whoever came up with that shit needs to be fired. So, your thoughts on that before I bring up Exhibit A of why he's a liar?
Because just because you're given an opportunity to play in and have a chance to win a championship, you're saying that it's shit? Like, that's weird. That is very, very weird.
Yeah, so now the whole media is up in arms on should the play-in tournament even be a thing. I would like to bring up a article from March of 2020.
Okay.
The title of the article, LeBron James wants a play-in tournament for final NBA playoff berths.
Oh, no.
And one of the quotes from that article, you got Portland, you got Memphis, New Orleans, and Sacramento tinkering around there. So if there's 5 or 10 games left, why not those guys battle it out? Make them play each other all 5 games for the playoff spot. So this is just a classic guy who never thought he was going to be in the play-in tournament. Also makes him sound a little bit like he's above the league.
Well, that's hypocritical. It's overall, that's just huge hypocrisy.
Right.
And yeah.
And then we have another tweet. Who tweeted? This guy works for ESPN.
Okay.
You might know his name. He's kind of a big time. One of the most stupidest tweets I've ever read in my life. Here's the tweet. If the play-in ends up costing the NBA, the Lakers and the Celtics for the playoffs, you've got to figure there will be consequences. Maybe not lost jobs, but the format would change. Who tweeted?
ESPN works for ESPN. I'm assuming he's a reporter, right?
He is.
Does he usually work at the desk, or is he more of a like a Woj?
A little bit of both. He's kind of like a hybrid.
Oh God. I'm drawing a blank, man. I was gonna say like Sam Sheffer, but that's.
It is J.A. Adonde.
Nope.
Okay. I have a lot of problems with this tweet, and if maybe we can dissect on like the media covering the sport. If the league were actually to fire someone because the Lakers or Celtics wouldn't get into playoffs, do you see what the big issue with that would be with fans?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
If the Lakers and Celtics, they could both play in the play-in tournament as the playoffs.
Correct.
JA is saying someone could potentially lose their job if that happens. What's the big issue with that?
But isn't the Lakers and Celtics like the biggest like rivalry like in NBA history?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if someone gets fired because they don't make the playoffs, that just shows that the league is pretty much just rigged and they only care about the same 7 teams.
Right.
And I understand that ratings would be really good if the Lakers and the Celtics were in the playoffs. But this is the conversation I wanted to have. Why do the media, like we see Bleacher Report, ESPN, they only tweet about the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks. They tweet about the same 8-10 players, but they don't really cover the sport anymore. They just kind of cover like headlines and storylines, so that when a team like the Celtics would miss the playoffs, instead of talking about the teams that did make the playoffs, they're talking about, oh, how could the NBA make this whole tournament without Boston, without LA? Like that's really the big issue here.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Matt, with the whole idea behind they're covering just now players. I think we're at this point in sports. How many times do you hear the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That team name. Do you know who you hear more of? Tom Brady, Gronkowski. Los Angeles Lakers. Who do you hear most of? LeBron. The Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis. You're hearing so many of these player names that there's more of a following with the players than there is with the actual team itself. And yeah, by association, they have to report on the team. But I think everybody's starting to understand that more people just care about the player and not the game. And they'd rather cover more stories. You know, that's why we see LeBron with a wine glass now, or what other crazy things that they've covered. I feel like we're ESPN today because that's all they cover is LeBron.
I stopped watching ESPN. Like they don't, like, every time I turn them on, they just like talk about like hypotheticals. Like at this point, I just want to know, like I want to see like analysis of the game, like why that play worked, why that play didn't work, and they don't really do that anymore. Which I don't think that's really good for the sport.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you know they take a look at the highlights and they put them all together and they segment that out every hour of ESPN. But, you know, even with that, there's never, like you said, there's never an analysis. Like I remember like the graphics that they put up, like, oh, like there was enough space here, boom, drive to the lane, pick and roll. Like there used to be a lot of analysis, and you are correct, Matt. But now we're just seeing the drama that's unfolding between everything else that's happening, and it's upsetting. And the worst part is ESPN is not a news, it's entertainment, it's sports. So they can do whatever they want, which is very unfortunate. But again, whatever Mickey Mouse, whatever the mouse says, that makes the revenue.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand they're gonna say like, well, if we put like I'll try to pick a random team, like the Pistons
Grizzlies.
on TV. Yeah, the Grizzlies. No one's going to watch the Grizzlies because they don't care about the Grizzlies. To which I would argue, well, if you're ESPN and you don't talk about the Grizzlies all week, and then you put them on TV, why would anyone watch them? You know,
it's a bias. That's all it is. Everybody has a bias, and Matt, I know for you, like I'm surprised you have not talked about. You're a very good podcaster, but for someone who's just starting out in the game, like I was imagining like Suns, Yankees, Flyers, Steelers.
Yeah, that's stuff that I like, but I like there's a random night I'll just watch like the Trailblazers and the Grizzlies because I find that important. I had another point I was going to make. Oh yes, national TV games. There was 2 weeks ago on Thursday on TNT. The games were the Sixers at the Bucks, 8:00, and then the Mavericks at the Lakers, 10:30.
Okay, 10:30.
2 days later, they had 2 more national televised games. The Sixers and the Bucks at 3:30, and the Mavericks and the Lakers at 8:30. So think about how many people can only watch the national TV games, like kids. Like for me, in middle school, I became a Suns fan. I don't have NBA League Pass. I can't watch the games, so I could only watch the national TV games. So if there's kids that only watch national TV games on ESPN, TNT, they just get fed the same like 8 teams. So of course there's ratings for those teams going to be high because that's all you put on TV.
It's funny, speaking of Mother's Day. So my mom only had the opportunity to watch the Chicago Cubs because that was the only available channel. Loved Sammy Sosa during his prime before he got into this whole mess, but was always a Cubs fan before she became a Yankees fan. But it was because that was the only thing that was available to watch on TV for them. But during that time, that was limited. Like it was very limited with the channels that you have now. Like you said, you have League Pass, you have all these games, you have all these things. But yeah, those who are more into the public broadcasting, they're going to see those games and they're going to watch it more. Whereas, I think I remember I was watching ESPN over the weekend and I'm like, wait, they played? Like you had no idea. They recorded it and they previewed it, but you had no idea that they were playing.
I was watching, but the ESPN does Sunday Night Baseball as I hit my microphone. Mm-hmm. The Mets were playing the Phillies, and they both signed 2 different catchers. So James McCann signed with the Mets. He was like the first free agent to sign. And then the Phillies re-signed their catcher, JT Realmuto, in like February. Mm-hmm. And ESPN, during the game, said that the Mets had to settle for James McCann after Realmuto signed, which is just completely false. So they're literally talking about the teams on TV and they don't know what they're talking about. It's just if you're interested in watching like sports and analyzing, YouTube is phenomenal. There's some really good guys that break down film on YouTube, and I honestly get a lot of my analysis on Twitter. Believe it or not, like there's some guys that make videos and like the conversations I see on Twitter are really interesting.
You're pretty. I mean, I see your replies when you're talking to people about the Suns.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, there goes Matt. But you're right. Like to me, and this will probably be my soapbox for today. But there's a problem with individuals who get hired to be in those roles as analysts and as people who are reporting the game. I hate to say this because it is well balanced. But TNT, NBA on TNT, you got 1, 2, you got 3 out of the 4 broadcasters played in the NBA before they became a broadcaster. And then you have 1 guy who went to school, studied, did his work, paid his dues, and is now NBA on TNT. He's the moderator, he's the main host. But you're going to get such a bad bias from the 3 previous players because they played the game. And to that, like, yeah, you and I, as past ex-players, yes, we can talk about the game, but not as good as somebody who has analyzed the game, has only analyzed the game for so long. Talk about experience. I can't even remember the last time I came up with a basketball play. I don't remember that. But you get these guys like, who is it? Is it Jalen Rose? Jalen, he's a commentator? He's
on ESPN, yeah.
Get somebody who has a degree, for crying out loud, that's actually willing to report the game. I hate to say it, but like...
So I do understand that for a little bit, because like TNT, for example, half the time they're not talking about basketball. Whether it's Shaq trying to explain his theory on paying gas, or I mean, they have a segment before the season starts with Charles Barkley called "Who He Play For," where they give Charles Barkley 5 NBA players. He has to guess what team they play for. He goes 0 for 5 every year. Like, that doesn't help. The only time they talk basketball is when Kenny the Jet Smith goes to his big board, and then half the time Shaq's racing him to the big board to see if he can get there first. I think there also are some former players that do a good job of it when they actually talk basketball. Half the time they just don't talk basketball, and it's very frustrating.
I hate to be that guy, but I used to hate Joe Buck when he called Fox games.
I love Joe Buck.
He's actually, like, now that like we're talking about it, I'm like, he's not that bad now because he's actually reporting and he's commentating at the same time.
If you like, everyone's like, "Oh, Joe Buck sucks," and you get it, you dive into it. But like, I've listened to a few of his interviews, and like when you're actually like listen, he doesn't do that bad of a job. Like he's one of my favorite sports commentators or color analysts out there. Yeah, he does a really good job. That concludes the sports topics we have for you all today. It is time for Dude, That's Crazy. One of my favorite end segments. I think it's both of our favorites. Mike, would you like to go first or second?
It's one of our favorites besides the editing piece, but that's it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it's not one of your favorites.
It's fun. It's just it's a little longer to edit because I have to bleep out the
Well,
that's another one for
yourself
me.
Right there.
I know I did. Matt, why don't you go ahead since this is a segment that you came up with?
Perfect. Let's see. Let me pick a good one here. Okay, I like this one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, tobacco companies kill their best customers, while condom companies kill their future customers. Not wrong.
I mean, dude, that's crazy. But you know what? What if they collabed?
What?
So don't think about like putting a condom with tobacco.
That was literally my first thought, like stuffing a condom with tobacco.
Smoking it. Non-lubricated. God, now we're going to talk about condoms for the next 5 minutes.
This is just gone off the rails.
Your fault.
Your collab.
So, like, because you said that tobacco companies kill their best customers and then condoms prevent their future customers.
Right.
So there's just a never-ending cycle if they collab together. There's no future there's no best customers to kill. There's no future customers to come in with the best customers.
Or you just invest in a tobacco company, invest in a condom company, and you make money both ways.
Yeah. Both
Don't
ways.
use tobacco, folks.
Yeah, no. And
disavow.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Yes. Don't be silly, wrap your willy.
Don't be silly, wrap your willy. A message approved by the Funny Business Podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Stamp of approval.
Stamp. Lick it and stamp it. Yeah, interesting, Matt.
It makes you
think.
Good
point. Very good point. My turn.
Yes.
History classes.
Okay.
They're going to get longer and more difficult as time goes on.
Wow. Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
Especially the hell of a year of 2020 that we had.
2020 could be like its own class in itself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you stop covering like the 1400s?
Because that's how, like, okay, to me, I was thinking about this when I put it in my notes. I'm like, I hope education changes by the time, I think it's important to understand like how we were made as a country, but then we still get into some of our, like, there's a lot of key points that happens to what makes us today. But let's fast forward. Let's the year 3000, the Joe Bros. Are we still going to be talking about how the country was founded? Like that's another weird thing. Like maybe we have a second revolution or the second founding of a different, like, what if Mars gets into play and like we're now inhabiting Mars? Like,
yeah.
Are you then going to have to teach how Earth was made and then how Mars was created? Like, I could go on and on, but I'd rather
it really
not.
It does put your brain in a pretzel. Like in reality, could they have like the 1400s to like the 1600s be like an hour class?
Right.
Like, do you really have to talk about it that much?
I don't think they can, Matt. I think to us, it gets nitty gritty because that's all the history that we had. Like, I don't know. Did you learn about, oh, yeah, dumb question, but you learned about World War One, right?
Right.
So they went into this huge detail about how the weapons and how, the improvements in technology and all these extra things. And I think we won't get deeper into that when it comes to 2,500 or 2100.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe if you want to specialize in that, like you take some courses that actually focus on that. But like general history class, yeah, it's probably, damn, that's wild.
Yeah, history.
Not one of my favorite subjects.
I was okay with it. I like learning about it on my own, but like not.
You have to have a really good teacher to like get you like invested in it. That's the big. I mean, you base that goes for every class, but like history especially. Like you can make history class fun with a good teacher.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you can make any class fun with a good teacher.
Yes, absolutely. Alrighty. Mike.
Yes.
Why is it called a hamburger if there's no ham in it?
Ham in it.
Because there's, like it should be a beef burger.
It should be a beef burger. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You make a good point.
I do.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because I mean, who came up with that?
And then a hot dog. There's not a dog in it.
Yeah. And it doesn't really look like a dog.
Right. I mean, a wiener, like a wiener dog. But then shouldn't you call it a hot wiener?
Yeah. I mean, when I golf, people call them grease missiles. Because they
I've never heard of that before.
You've never heard of a grease missile?
No.
Yeah, they're grease missiles. Because they just help you hit bombs off the tee box. Or glizzies.
They have it.
At what point do you think in society we're going to start saying a word, like a slang word, like maybe for food, like glizzy, that we just stop calling it hot dog in general? Because that's going to happen at some point.
You see those TikToks of like, oh, like the word like lit was, popular in the 1600s. And it was like, and they show like, well, I know George Washington wasn't existent, but like in the 1600s. Wait, 1770. Maybe it's around there.
Close to it.
So, yeah, 1777, right? Was when we...
1776.
Okay, a year after.
Close enough.
Close enough. But yeah, like it just shows like a popular, not a popular, but a historical figure that's like lit. That is lit.
Yeah, that's crazy to think of.
But yeah, it should be called a beef burger.
It should be called a beef burger.
Or a burger. Like a burger. Like you can just call it a burger.
That's a good point too.
A cheeseburger.
Right, because if it doesn't have cheese, then it's just a burger.
A burger.
That's a great point.
I think, Matt, let's make a pact. We're not calling it a hamburger anymore. We are just calling it strictly a burger.
Yep, I'm in. We disavow hamburger.
Bet.
Okay, sounds like a plan to me.
My students, I was asking them, we were talking about like hip words, like a little side story. And I said to them, do you like guys have any like weird like slang that like I have no idea about? One of them goes, do you know bet? It's like, you think I'm that old?
Well, that's not that new.
Yeah.
I say bet all the time.
And she's like, how do you use it in the sentence? I'm like, bet.
Yeah, you can use bet in like any sentence.
Yeah. So, anywho, my turn, Matt.
Yep.
It's about food. Food.
Okay.
Can you believe that? Double up on the food.
I'm shocked.
Pizza.
Yeah.
We eat it inside out.
You eat it inside out.
You start from the inside and you finish it on the outside. Unless you're some weird who decides
the crust first.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do eat it inside out. Dude, that's crazy. Never really thought about that.
Right.
I love pizza.
Oh, dude. Pizza's so nice.
I can't get with the people that take the cheese off the pizza. I understand if you're lactose intolerant, but like, that drives me crazy.
If I had to pick one food, I think we had this discussion. If you had to pick one food that you would eat, you'd be able to eat every single day, I think it'd be pizza for me.
It'd be up there. I mean, I love pasta.
Oh yeah, pasta. Pasta is a contender.
Like, if you could eat different types of pasta, I think I'd go with pasta. This is just proves that we're both fat asses because we picked pasta and pizza. So,
buffalo chicken pizza would have been my like if I was dying, they'd be like, you can have one more meal. Buffalo chicken pizza.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I prefer chicken bacon ranch pizza.
That's a good one too.
From Pizza Bella. Do you have it from Pizza Bella?
No, but
it's my favorite pizza from Pizza Bella.
You know me, when I have a long day and I don't want to order anything, you know I'm ordering a buffalo chicken pizza from there and I'm picking it up on my way back home.
Great place.
Yeah, inside out.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You don't really think about that, but
no, until you think about it.
Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah. Bet.
Oh man. Well, again, that concludes. Well, not even again. Again, like another episode. That concludes another episode of the Funny Business Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening, whether it's in the car, in your ear, when you're on your run, in the gym, in your car, on the radio.
Before you go to sleep. Our voices are just so soothing that they just put you right to sleep.
Put you like melodious is another word.
I never heard that word before.
Melody, like it's like a nice like melodious tone. Like
bet.
Yeah. I need like a little sparkle for like every word that we learn or like every phrase that like
the funny business word of the day.
The more you know. We should do that.
What? The funny business word of the day?
The funny business word of the day.
All right.
That could be my end segment every week, but we'll let our audience decide. If you made it this far to this podcast, be sure to let us know. You could either DM us, you can comment on one of our posts. Be nice to us because we will be nice back. Be mean to us, we will be mean back. That's a promise. If you haven't followed our social media, if you're just brand new here, welcome. Glad you made it through the entire episode. You can find all of our social media at solo.to/funnybusiness. We are grinding with the Instagram, Facebook, Twitters. Matt's coming out with the memes this past week on fire.
Yep. Memes are back, baby.
Memes are dreams, but what also is dreams is our Twitch streams. That rhymed really well. Twitch.tv/funnybusinessen. Matt, I was thinking maybe we should live stream going golfing the one time.
I'm in.
We'll set up the phone. We'll get the battery pack in. We'll get the tripod. It'll be on the golf cart. We just swoop, swoop, swoop.
Yeah. I think this is a genius idea.
People will probably not want to tune in, but hey.
We'll make it interesting. My golf swing's interesting as it is.
Dude, those calf legs, man. Those calves on those damn legs.
Yeah, it's a big flex I got.
Matt, anything to conclude before we wrap up and send it to the music?
Watch out for that rocket. You know, if you're going out, just kind of take a glance up in the sky. You never know.
There was 2 helicopters that went across campus today, and they were like black choppers that were just flying.
Ooh.
Hopefully it wasn't life flight or anything like that. Like
I don't think that would be it.
Yeah. It'd be white.
Hopefully
right?
not. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm no pilot yet.
No. Yeah, how's that drone certification going?
I'm gonna study late May.
Got it.
I got to do it before June 30th.
I have faith in you.
I did.
You have a due date?
Yeah.
Oh, is it like a year after you get it?
No, that's when our fiscal year ends. So I kind of need to do it before we have zero sum budget that we need to work with.
Makes sense.
There was a new regulation that came out that you cannot fly over people anymore. Period.
Like how far above people?
Just general.
Like even if you're like all the way up?
Like they're more referring to like concerts. concerts and like gatherings. Like,
so you can't even use it at like, so baseball teams can't use it above their stadium?
That would technically be illegal, I think.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, well, that's why you need to be certified, ladies and gentlemen, because you see shit like that. But like, if you're like flying like New York City, like, I don't know, I have to look it up, but I'm on a Facebook group that has part of my certification training, and so he's like, can someone please explain to me what the FAA released about flying over people now? And I'm like trying to gather as much information, and I'm like, oh, that's not good.
That does suck.
Yeah.
You know what else sucks? For the Houston Astros fans, I just got an alert. They're playing in Yankee Stadium this week, and there's just like tons of people trying to bring in trash cans. So that's gonna suck.
Sir, you cannot bring. It's my ex-girlfriend. What are you talking about?
Sir, this
She's
is a
right
Wendy's.
There. Well, until the next time, we'll see you all in the next episode.
Stay safe, everyone.